The death toll from a mass methanol poisoning in Laos has claimed a fifth life overnight, with the UK's Foreign Office confirming a British woman is the latest person to die from the disaster. The news comes as a Melbourne community is in mourning after the family of teenager Bianca Jones made the heartbreaking decision to turn off her life support.
The 19-year-old's friend, Holly Bowles, remains on life support in a Thai hospital, fighting for her life. The pair were backpacking together when they became critically ill after consuming poisoned drinks last week. We'll begin our coverage with Southeast Asia correspondent Lauren Day, who's in Bangkok.
Well, this mass methanol poisoning incident has really sent shockwaves around the world and raised a lot of concerns about the possible dangers of drinking in Southeast Asia and particularly in Laos. Of course, yesterday we had the devastating news that Australian teenager Bianca Jones was the latest to die. Her family had to make the absolutely devastating decision to take her off life support a week after she fell ill in the Lao party town of Vang Vieng. Thai police have now confirmed that the cause of death was methanol poisoning. She apparently had a high concentration of the chemical in her bloodstream, likely as the result of unwittingly drinking bootleg alcohol from Laos. Many people from around the world have been caught up in this and fallen ill. There are people from the UK, the US, New Zealand, the Netherlands, and that's likely to put a lot of pressure on police in Laos to get to the bottom of this. I understand that they didn't initially close down the bar or the hostel where many of these victims had been drinking. And I also discovered that apparently they didn't ask the hostel for CCTV footage until after it had automatically been deleted 5 days after the night in question. Neither the Australian Federal Police nor DFAT have confirmed whether or not they're assisting with this investigation. But no doubt there will be a lot of international scrutiny on police in Laos, given the scale of this absolute tragedy.
That's Lauren Day reporting there. Well, Mietta Adams is in Melbourne's southeast, where the two young Australian women are from. Mietta, what's the latest? This is a community in absolute shock and grief right now.
That's right, Bridget. The community here in Beaumaris are absolutely devastated, understandably, ever since it was confirmed yesterday that 19-year-old Bianca Jones had died and was turned off life support after consuming methanol. A high concentration, as we just heard, was found in her blood. Meanwhile, her best friend, Holly Bowles, continues to remain on life support. She's in a separate hospital in Bangkok, and all hopes with the community are there for Holly. As we heard, 5 people have died from this terrible methanol poisoning. The latest was a 28-year-old UK national. Just devastating news. But back home, the family of Bianca Jones have issued a statement saying that she was a beloved daughter and sister with a spirit that touched so many lives and passed away surrounded by love. It's here at the football club where both Bianca and Holly were cherished members of, as we heard from the president. They have been mourning here. On Wednesday night, the group gathered to remember the girls, and tonight they'll have a wider players group gathering for the community to lean on. And obviously this extremely tough time around Beaumaris this morning. Many locals have come up and their heads are held low. They're really feeling the grief this morning. We also heard yesterday from a number of politicians, including Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, who paused question time to offer his condolences to Bianca Jones's family. He said that this was any parent's worst nightmare. We also heard from the federal member for this electorate here in Goldstein, Zoe Daniel, who said that she is absolutely gutted and heartbroken. She said that these girls and their families were very well connected in this community, and as I say, extremely heartbroken. And we also heard from Penny Wong, who is said that this is a really important time to educate ourselves on the risks of methanol and the risks that can have. It is such a dangerous substance, so a really important time to learn how to try and avoid these sort of situations. But here on the ground in Beaumaris, the community is absolutely devastated and just hoping all the best for Holly's situation to improve.
Yeah, we're thinking of everyone that knows those two young women. Thank you very much, Mietta.
The International Criminal Court has issued arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his former Defence Minister Yoav Gallant for alleged war crimes in Gaza. Middle East correspondent Matthew Doran joins us now from Jerusalem. Matthew, what exactly do we know so far?
The ICC made this decision in the last couple of hours or so, a couple of months after the ICC prosecutor in this case, Karim Khan, had pleaded with the court to issue these arrest warrants. And the ICC is saying that both Benjamin Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant, that there are reasonable grounds these two men have been responsible for war crimes and also for crimes against humanity. With the issue of war crimes in particular, they're looking at this issue of the use of starvation as a tool or a weapon of war, something that is prohibited under international conventions. When it comes to the issue of crimes against humanity, they are saying that these two men are responsible for murder, for persecution and for inhumane acts against members of the Palestinian community in Gaza. The response that's come from the Israeli political class has been pretty quick and pretty clear across the board. Even some of Benjamin Netanyahu's fiercest critics are backing him in here, saying that this is overreach by the ICC, that this is a decision that has been made that is anti-Semitic. And it's not surprising necessarily that we're hearing these sort of comments from Israel's political class, considering that Israel is not a signatory to the ICC. It is not a member state. It does not recognise its jurisdiction there. So this is an interesting development that we have seen. It is a very significant development, as much as the Israeli government is trying to distance itself from it. And we heard a statement from the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu a short time ago, defiant in rejecting any claims that he should be arrested.
Citizens of Israel, no outrageous anti-Israeli decision will prevent us, and it will not prevent me, from continuing to defend our country in any way. We will not give in to pressure. Together we will stand, together we will fight, and with God's help, together we will win.
OK, Matthew Doran reporting there live from Jerusalem, and we are chasing with the Australian government their reaction to this. We've heard from a few countries around the world who've said they will enforce this arrest warrant should those people travel to those countries, including Canada, France and the Netherlands.
Yeah, okay. These are very consequential decision, and we'll stay across it this morning. Let's go overseas. At least 38 people have been killed after gunmen opened fire on vehicles carrying Shiite Muslims in Pakistan's northwest. The Pakistani government has blamed terrorists and is condemning the killing of innocent civilians.
It won't come as a shock to many, but new data out this morning shows rental affordability has hit record lows in nearly every major capital. The annual Rental Affordability Index released by SGS Economics and Planning and National Shelter confirms low-income earners are bearing the brunt of soaring rents. It also reveals that Perth has now overtaken Sydney as the least affordable city to rent. Melbourne, Brisbane and Adelaide have also recorded their worst affordability scores in nearly a decade.
A 57-year-old man accused of assisting the alleged murderer of 19-year-old woman Isla Bell is expected to apply for bail today. Police are alleging Ayal Yaf helped Marat Garniev move a black fridge containing the remains of Ms Bell. Police also allege Mr Yaf bought flights to Bulgaria after being interviewed by authorities.
Police are investigating a vandal attack in Sydney's east that saw cars torched and graffitied with anti-Israel slogans. Police were called to Wellington Street in Woollahra yesterday morning and found 10 cars vandalised in the area. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has labelled the incident disturbing.
Data from the Australian Bureau of Statistics has revealed the number of women in jail is rising faster than men in Australia. The Northern Territory has one of the highest incarceration rates in the world, and studies also show most have experienced violence or abuse. Lawyers and experts are calling on the government to invest in alternatives to custody for women to curb the rising number of women in jail.
Well, don't forget to slip, slop, slap if you're in Victoria this weekend, because temperatures are set to soar. The Weather Bureau has issued a severe heatwave warning for parts of East Gippsland and central Victoria. Most other parts of the state will simmer under a low-intensity heatwave.
Well, this is our nightmare, Emma. Snake on a plane.
Is it ever?
Personality saving a flight from a slithery scare has been captured on social media. Andre Rarakura says the non-venomous Stimson's python slithered near his legs while on a flight. It happened just before the flight took off from Broome Airport yesterday morning. Passengers cheered as he managed to remove the snake, which he describes as cute.